What's going on YouTube? JHUsborn here, and welcome back to another edition of my DC comic book reviews. And in this video, we're going to be talking about Batman Detective Comics, issue number 1061. This one's written by Mariko Tamaki and Nadia Shammas. There's also a backup storyline, Gotham Girl Interrupted. Yeah, let's go ahead and kind of talk about this thing. Arts by Ivan Reis, by the way, is really, really good. I think that's my favorite aspect of this entire story, is the artwork, because as a kind of sort of story arc, or whatever you want to call this thing, I think it was like 3 issues or something like that, it wasn't the best. I didn't quite love this thing like I was kind of hoping I would. I mean, you got Talia back in there, like she seems to be more active and spread out throughout the DC universe, which I like to see. Her reasons for it all is kind of confusing and convoluted. I don't like the Riddler's stupid mustache and all that, where he looks like a leprechaun. That's just not a look for Riddler. I feel like he needs to be clean shaven. That's just my personal preference. We have Deb Donovan's daughter, Caroline, who was like crossing the line and stuff, and I don't feel like we got a truly good justifiable reason for why she did what she did. It's not like she was forced to do what she had to do. She kind of just like did stuff at first, kind of like she may have, like, you know, pushed things aside for some money for her mom's benefit, but like I don't know exactly why she was fully driven to murder unless I missed something. So we got that going on there. Also, Chase Meridian, Nicole Kidman, I guess this is doing a good job kind of capturing why she's not a very good psychologist or whatever, because in Batman Forever, her whole entire character was just like she was horny for Batman, but like here it's so like it didn't seem like she was a very good psychologist or psychiatrist or whatever you want to call it, but here she's just like breaks patient confidentiality so she can have a group session with all of them confessing to like their various crimes. Like, this seems like something a villain would do, to have this kind of leverage, like, oh, by the way, without like letting your knowledge about this whole situation, confess all your stuff, this is good for you. No, this seems really suspect and kind of shady. Almost makes her seem like she's manipulating these people for some nefarious purposes. But anyways, so Riddler's off doing his little podcast thing or whatever, because he's just been doing that for the whole issue. Like, I don't know, like he's doing his thing. Caroline Donovan, who, you know, Bruce Wayne did like a quick date with her or whatever, is like, I'm doing this because it's the right thing to do. Why are you murdering people? Like, why is that the right thing to do? Like I said, it's not very fully fleshed out or clear cut. Batman does confront the Riddler. He punches and beats the crap out of him, but he doesn't arrest him. I feel like Riddler should be in jail concerning all the crimes he's kind of committed. And then Deb Donovan, or I should say Carolyn Donovan, at one point is there. Cass Kane shows up because she's the backup for Batman, which is cool to see her. She doesn't really do much in the issue aside from help save someone's life. Caroline kind of disappears without us kind of fully figuring out what's happening with her. Deb kind of goes back to drinking, so she's basically kind of like turning fully into Harvey Bullock at this point. The issue ends. Bruce is kind of upset about the whole situation. Talia shows up for whatever reason. She's just kind of there, and she kind of talks about like Bruce's taste in women and how she was just kind of strolling by and stuff. And yeah, like that was like, because if we read Robin 15, you know that Talia is now going to be working for the DEO. I'm not sure if like this is all connected to that, like why she's in Gotham. She's doing it to kind of gain some sort of influence over things. I don't quite know. This wasn't a very clear-cut storyline. At least like with the previous like Tamaki arc with that 12-issue thing, I could follow it pretty well. It's pretty straightforward, kind of what they were doing. It's just a big long con. This thing, I'm just like, okay, what's the character motivation? Like, what's really like driving the story forward? It was just kind of messy to me. Like, I really like, even after like reading the whole thing, I'm still kind of confused. Like, what really is the end game of the story? Like, what's fully going on here? Like, why are the characters acting like this? What's the justifiable reason for it? I don't really know. Like I said, this is kind of a story arc I feel like you can kind of skip. But the Ivan Reis artwork is really, really good. I do like seeing these two kind of interact a bit more, but it still wasn't anything special. Then we got the Gotham Girl Interrupted final storyline. Remember when she brought like Nicole Kidman to like Chase Meridian, like she thought she was the one responsible for all this stuff, but she wasn't. Like, there was some other stuff going on there. We have Huntress, who kind of ultimately kind of gets in the way and stops her from killing somebody, and they do some research, come to find it's somebody else there who's behind this whole thing. and Gotham Girl kind of flies up and does her own thing. Then the very ending of the issue, like after like Helena is there to kind of comfort her, we come to find that Talia was kind of responsible for this whole thing. Like, what is she even doing? Like, it just felt like really kind of out of place considering the stuff that was going on here. She's just like, the little nudges didn't work to set you off, sweet girl. No matter, I'll just have to come up with a more aggressive approach. The daughter of the demon could use a Superman of her own. I don't know what the hell is going on with this whole thing. Is this like a magic wishing well? Like, what is Talia even doing? Like, her characterization in this feels very starkly different from like some of the other books that are going on at DC. I don't really know. It just says follow Talia's adventures in Batman vs. Robin coming soon. It doesn't really feel in line with a lot of the stuff that's been going on necessarily. And I didn't really love that Gotham Girl storyline in general. I've never been huge into that character. I mean, it's okay, all things considered. I don't despise it or anything like that. It could have been a little bit stronger. But like it just wasn't doing anything for me. Like the storyline felt a little bit convoluted with all the stuff going on. And then you have this cover here with them like kissing each other, which, you know, for some people, it's like, oh, finally, after all this time. And it's not like they really, this cover almost doesn't really, like, mesh well with the entire issue. Like, yeah, Talia shows up, has one interaction with Batman, but it's not necessarily about their past relationship or anything like that. So why is this the cover? I don't know. It's just not really been, like, one of the strongest issues of Detective Comics. I think Ram V is taking over with the next issue of it. Is this really the end of the Tamaki stuff? Which I'm looking forward to seeing what Ram V is doing, because I liked his work on Catwoman. I thought that was, like, once he kind of left that book, I kind of, like, checked out of that book in general, because it's not been quite as good. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does with Detective Comics, but this storyline in general just felt kind of, like, convoluted, a little bit messy, not really, like, as clear-cut as I feel like they intended it to be. I don't exactly, like, fully know. I'm just kind of giving my initial thoughts, and then I didn't particularly care for this storyline, all things considered, so yeah, those are my thoughts on Detective Comics 1061. If you liked the issue, if you disliked it, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Be sure to hit the bell for notifications. Subscribe to the YouTube channel for more content. Be sure to come back next time. I'm going to be talking about Deathstroke Inc. number 10. And then I got Task Force Z later on. And then I got that DC versus Vampires thing. So there's a lot of stuff coming out that you can look forward to. All right, well, that's all I got to say. As always, take care now. Bye-bye then. And I will see you all in the next video. Peace.